What's up, everybody? It is time for the CarMan show today. Let's see. We're going to kick into live chats, and all things are active right now, and we can talk and we can be buddies and friends and communicate and all that good stuff. Meanwhile, so this channel is all basically about education and trying to share information amongst one another, helping you get to your life's little goals, or big goals, or medium goals, or whatever goals you might have in life. But whatever it is, we're going to try to give you as much information as we can to get you there or help you at least get close to getting there. And if you haven't subscribed, we definitely invite you to. And let's get on it. So one of the dangers in the car business, if you're going to be learning about this stuff, is the dead zones. And the dead zones suck. That's when you can't find cars, you can't find customers, and you're just twiddling thumbs. What's up, Dan? What's up? What's up? What's up? And so we always hate this. This is like the Achilles heel to making lots of money. And what I mean by that is, if you're going to sit in a dry spell, maybe you're sitting at a car lot, maybe you're a car buyer, maybe whatever the case is, whatever your particular function is, but you're sitting around and you got nothing going on. So I'm going to give you some tips on how I keep stuff going on 24/7. So let's talk about cars for a second. So when you're out buying cars, there's always like hairy deals that you could get involved in, but you don't really want to get involved in because it takes you don't want to get into it at the moment because it's going to take your money and you don't feel like waiting. But there's a part of you that says that, if you go ahead and jump on this, that you will still make money, but you're not going to make the money right now. So your money's kind of locked up for too long. Give you an example. Let's just say some clown is like, well, I say clown. Let's just say a customer. A customer is like, well, I just paid off my car. Okay, cool. When you get in the title? Well, it's coming from the opposite side of the states. It's coming. We're on the East Coast. It's coming from the West Coast at a small bank. And they said that I'll get the title in 2 or 3 weeks. Well, let's pretend it's like a $10,000 car. Well, are you going to sit 10 grand down into their hand and wait for the title? Or you just give them nothing, run the risk of nothing happening? What do you do in a situation like that? So this is what I call building a pipeline. You always keep enough funds available. Hey, what's up, everybody? I see everybody kind of logging in saying hi. Appreciate it, guys. Live chat. We're on live chat. There we go. All right, got everybody. So my thing is you will pipeline car deals and car buying deals. And like in this case where you're waiting on a payoff, how do you handle that? So here's some of the ideas I got. It really comes down to what you have. You only give them what you feel comfortable with. I just seen a great statement. It just disappeared before I got a chance to really read it. Give them only what it's worth in parts and half or I've been there, man. Yeah, he's been there. Yeah, so here's what I do. I had a Toyota Corolla the other day. It's been a couple months ago. But anyway, I had this Toyota Corolla. It's a friend of mine. I mean, love the girl to death. She's a buddy of mine. But she has bought a car, and anyway, she's buying a new car, and her car was financed in North Carolina. It was a cheap enough car. It was like a $2,000 buy or something like that, $1,500. And but it was like her uncle's name. This one's painted off. That there's all these little West Virginia mountain curve roads that you got to go through to make one car deal. And so here's what I ended up doing. I said, listen, I love it. I'll help you out. I'll buy your car. You're good people. We're friends. We're family. We're everything. But I don't want my money tied up for 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, even though it's only $2 grand. That $2 grand can make me $6 grand while I'm waiting on yours. So I gave her, I think I gave her like $500. Maybe sometimes with people, I'll give them 100, maybe 200. And how this ended up turning out, it ended up taking 3.5 weeks from the point she called me and told me she wanted to sell her car to when I actually owned it. I had already moved on with life, buying and selling, buying and selling, and buying and selling. And then that week it pops up and boom, there she sits, which is a nice little pop. So when I made $1,000 on that week, it was a freebie because it was work I had already done and cashing in on. And I tend to do that a lot, especially with cars that are getting paid off or some other cars out there that are kind of like that. And like in our particular state, if you get an abandoned title, this happens a lot. companies can get, individuals can get abandoned titles. That means the car's just been sitting there and they're going to get a title on it, and they get their stuff that gets the title, or they can apply for the title, but they don't have it yet. And you really kind of want the car, and you know that it's going to make $1,500, $2,000, whatever, but you don't want to stick that money out there. Once again, man, it's just you just get that notebook going of everybody that you've got stacked up in the line. Yeah, and here's a risk. It's a good question. What do you do when they don't come back? Which is a great question. You're going to write the money off. It's a loss. You have no security at all. This is a high-risk game, and it's not really for the squeamish of heart. But that's why I don't mind, dropping $100 or $200 and losing it. I mean, I don't like to do it, but I mean, if you got to do it, you got to do it. If it's a chance to make $2,000, and I've got enough information on it, like I know they're a career person, they work for whoever, whatever, that they're stable, and I'm not going to do this deal from a guy at a hotel, but I mean, if you can convince, if I'm looking at you and I'm convinced that you're going to be there tomorrow, you got a shot at working a future deal with me. And that's kind of what I mean by this. And some other examples on this is people waiting on out of state. Sometimes people are waiting to get a title changed from one name to the next. Estate ones, that's another one. Storage lockers, if you're buying from there. Same ordeal, except storage lockers are going to make you pay up front, but that's okay. I mean, if you got to, you got to, but then you know that you're going to get the title. You got a set amount of time, and that's okay too. So a lot of people tend to pass on what I call them deals with hair on them. Rick Sodom, he says, "Kill today, Carman. Do up another good show. Cracking a beer right now. LOL." Okay, I got you, man. I got you. So my basic interpretation of it's a savings account. If you can keep people on the cuff for long enough, then you're going to definitely be getting paid all year and all month long. Especially when it comes to buying cars. Like today, I sold a car the other day. I had this Lincoln, sold it. No big deal. And she's calling me. She's like, "Hey, I got this Jeep Liberty I need to get rid of." I'm like, all right, I'll go check it out. So I go check it out today, man. It's beautiful. It's it's 150,000 mile limited 4-wheel drive, leathered up front to back. The clear coat's beautiful. Inside's nice, brand new rubber all the way around it. And she's got a mist that no one can figure out. I'll pull the code. It's a 354. It's a number 4 coil pack. Bought the car for $400. Now, that's that person is in my pipeline. So when she's calling, I'm like, can I stay in touch with her? You know what I mean? So this is one, it's called stacking the deck. So, and I do that with all of our customers, because if you never know. I mean, maybe they'll be calling a bitch about the battery dying or whatever. But a lot of times people, once they know someone that's in the car business, they tend to lock onto you, and you're like their little friend that's always there, who they're always going to call when they're in shit. You know what I mean? You're the guy that's going to help them swim out of the hole. And that's where we're at. Like, this is where your mind's got to be. So what I would suggest you to do immediately is get a book, and every car you think is potential, like once you've made contact with a customer, you've got a little conversation, and you're like, damn, that deal's too hairy. I don't want to deal with it, but I'm going to watch it for a week or two. Keep those going. Keep them going. Keep them going, guys. This is how we get paid, and this is without a doubt going to be the most important lesson, one of the most important lessons I give you, because everybody can get lucky. How do they say it? Even a blind nut can find a squirrel, and that's true. I know they said the reverse of that, but that's true about the blind nut. Even a blind, deaf, and dumb nut can find a squirrel. I heard the door open. I'm thinking it's... Oh, God. Is it? It's her? Yes! What's up, sweetness?
Hello.
That's my sugar right there. Anyway, back to this blind nut finding a squirrel. It's so true. I mean, you'll get lucky. I mean, we're going to find one on Craigslist. We're going to find one at the auction. Let somebody's asleep at the wheel. A lot of this stuff happens, and you can just get lucky, man. You get lucky, roll them dice, and bam, it happens. But if you have a pipeline of 10, 15, 20 people, and it'll grow up there, I guarantee you my book probably has 50 car deals in it, 80, some, I don't know, 80, 100. It's a lot. It's pages and pages of shit that I can't even hardly read. But I look at it every day and like, oh, well, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to do this. And the reason I do that is because it keeps you busy. Like it keeps you in rotation. So when stuff is dead on your sites or you can't find anything you want at the auction, you've got plan B. Plan B is the ticket, fellas. Plan A is just luck. Somebody walking on the lot's luck. Somebody, finding somebody asleep at the wheel at the auction's luck. Working somebody for 3 weeks, that's getting paid for having your shit together in your brain and staying on top of stuff. So that's what you want to do. That pipeline is important. So let's talk about customers. Ugh. So how do you keep a customer pipeline going? This is pretty simple, and it's so simple it's complex. But this is how it is. We got to break them down. Okay, we have customers that have a particular season they're buying for or a reason. Other words. You run into somebody and they're like, dang, man, bro, can you keep up? This week I've had 4 different people ask me, they've got kids needing $3,000 in back cars, which we know exactly what that is. Those are Jeep Liberties, like I just got, just little SUVs, little gas saver automatics. That's what everybody's looking for. So anyway, we know that's what they got. So, but maybe they're not ready just yet. Maybe they're like, hey, look, keep an eye out because in 60 days... this is what I'm going to be buying about 2 months from now. So here's what I do, guys. And this shit works like you don't even want to know. And about a month from now, when I've made contact with someone I know they're buying, I'm going to pick up the phone and be like, hey, I just want to let you know I've been looking out for you and I've got a couple things in mind on which I'm heading for, just making sure we're kind of still on that target date or if anything's changed, you want to up your time. And man, boom, right there. Almost every time when you do that second follow-up call, they turn into a customer, especially cash customers because they get desperate because they go out and look at a few things after they talk shit to you. They go out and look at a few things, get their feelings hurt. They find nothing but junk they don't want, and then they want to have someone with expertise to help them out. Then they appreciate what you can bring to the table. And you'd be like, hey, listen, all that's important is that you get a good car, just checking with you, and bam, they're on the game. So always keep up with your cash buyers, follow up with them at least 2 weeks before their said time. And the more you get a relationship with them, the tighter you're going to pull them in as far as changing them into a permanent customer. That's the goal. Customers for life. I've always believed that. Keep those customers coming day in and day out. Always help them. Even if they bought a car from you last year, the year before, they call, take time to talk to them, help them out with their little problems in the car world. Whatever, you're the expert. You can make stuff a lot easier for them. That's what I always do with people. They love it. They love me. And that's what we all do. All right, so we got that customer. The other customer that put in the pipeline, and these are a doozy, and because of their credit worthiness, it's kind of like a little risky to get this deep. Wait a minute. Let me catch up. Big Cliff, you're a fixer. Yes, trade for OO town car, limo, rough. Can retail, but everyone wants a ride. Charge 20 till I give them money back. Yes, Dan. I love it. I love limousines. Numbnuts, they used to call them. They used to call Big Cliffy Numbnuts. Okay. All right. So here's your second customer, and this is a captive audience. The only problem is with people with bad credit, they're not usually loyal, which, it's part of the game. Let's just go and call it what it is. They're really desperate for a car. So if someone can ever offer them a car before you're done with the program I'm getting ready to teach you about, then they're probably going to get the customer. But in the case where you're going to try to get them hooked or get them at least in a buyable situation, you got to build a profile for them to get them bought. And here's what I mean. Once you pull their credit, assuming you do secondary financing, this is a big assumption. A lot of y'all don't, but if you do, then on their credit bureau, you can contest all the shit that's on there. If it's bad, you can contest it. Nope, that's not mine. Nope. Contest. Well, your first ride around the block, half of the crap's coming off. Usually, this is how it usually works. And within 60 to 90 days, it's almost all gone. You can just keep contesting it till your face turns blue. You can get with a company called Lexington Law. They're really fast too. You can you can clean somebody up pretty quick. Now, here's the thing. You could charge them to do this, which I think you'd probably have to have a license, or you could make them put a deposit down, on a car deal, so to say, whatever you can kind of come up with to keep them. You want to keep them occupied. You don't want to spend all that time and effort, even though it only takes a few minutes, to get them straight for them to go buy a car somewhere else. So you got to have something in the game. So if they back up, you got something to cover your time. But what you're going to find out is there's a shit ton of people with bad credit. They are all over the place. I mean, there is so much bad credit on the planet. Is just like it is ridiculous. Like there must be, I don't know what the numbers are. I'm just going to throw it out there. What it seems like to me, it seems like there's 20 bad credit people to one good credit person. Like that's how big the spectrum is. And not all of it's bad. Just some of it I'm just meaning not A tier credit. So people that could use some help. So if you get known as that guy, you will always have 50 to 100 people a month coming clean and ready to buy a car. Like this is just a matter of you being smart and looking at a different way to slice this cake. And it just takes a little bit of organization, a little bit of time. I'll expound upon this a little bit later as far as the details of that. But that's what I'm talking about. Just keeping those people on the loop and keeping them in the pipeline because, guys, this is where it's at. This is your customers, your cream of your crop that's coming in. If you knew every day all you had to do was show up to make $3,000, of course you would do this. You would do this nonstop. You would have these people barking up your tree, and everybody gets caught up on, I'm going to charge you to clean up your credit. Hell no. What you do is tell them you're going to help them clean up their credit because it doesn't cost you to do anything anyway, and you put them in the pipeline, and you make $2,000 or $3,000 on each deal. Like, don't sweat a penny when you can make $10. Like, don't. I mean, this is what you do. You're like, well, maybe I'll lose some. Well, you might lose some, but you're going to make a lot more than you lose. So just take this from a guy that wished he'd have done it right to start with, but I figured out how to do it later. Of course, when I got in the car business, you either had bad credit or you didn't. That's just all it was. You wouldn't have fixing it. But later, as things evolved, you got to be able to, the contesting and all that became very readily available. And then everybody got in the game because remember when I told you about the car business? It ain't got nothing shit to do with cars. It's all money. Well, guess what? Credit has nothing to do with credit. Credit is allowing companies to tell you how much they can make on you. So if they can find something wrong to put on your shit, then they're going to be charging you more money. Period. That's all it is. Credit is not about how good of a man you are or how great of a person you are. I mean, it does kind of in one sense, but in another sense, what they're using that tool for is a way to rape you. They're like, oh, man, this dude paid all his bills on time. Or I have to give him the lowest interest rate, which is good for them. It makes their portfolio look good. But I guarantee you, a guy that's missed a couple payments, but still pretty good, they're going to love that guy because they're going to make 3 points of interest on him, which is twice as much as they're making on the guy with the good credit. So those guys are valuable commodities to the people that loan money. Bad credit doesn't mean bad deal. Bad credit just means let's stop. Let's think about it. Let's look at it. How can we build a portfolio here for you, Mr. Customer, to make you a buyable citizen and a usable person that we can turn into a car deal? And especially if you're doing this time. All right, buddy, I'm gonna need some paycheck stubs. It's gonna start there. You're gonna need proof of income. You're gonna need proof of residence. You're gonna need all these little things to throw into the pile to make them a buyable deal. You get what I'm saying? And if you're not willing to do that, I mean, don't even waste your time. But for you also that are listening, you guys can make a shit ton of money on this. I'm telling you right now, like you can make a truckload of money on people that need your help. All right, gotta get the pilot project. I get offers all the time. Hold on. I don't know. Hey, Jamie, you're thinking about getting back in the car business, still in the car business. Tracy is off. Oh, well, I'm not getting into the franchise business. Let me tell you that. I think that's what he means. No, I'm not ever going to get back in the franchise business. A little bit about me, background. In January, a year and a half ago, double strokes, done. I'm not gonna fight the franchises anymore. I'm not gonna fight with Ford, GM. They can all suck it. I don't care. Life's too short. I'm not interested. Is there a ton of money in it? Yes. If you're a young man, perfect. If you're a guy that knows how to pencil deals and you can get a pretty good gig paying $1,500 a week or $1,000 a week, depending on where you're living, and you can pencil deals, you're good to go. If you and franchise is a good business. I mean, it is. I mean, you can, as a salesperson, that's where you're going to make some money at. Sales managers, the desk guys, like I said, I mean, a good one will make, not a good one, an average one will make $6,000 a month. Some of them, if you're in a real shitty store, you're only going to make, $1,000 a week. But if you're in a really good big store, you're going to make 100, 150, 200,000 a year. However, the commitment to make that money is your life. Like, you got to sell them your life. Your soul's on the table. You give it to them. That's it. You're running. I mean, you might get a day off. I mean, they make it sound real good. You dress nice. You get all the fun shit. You get new cars to drive. You get all the fun stuff in life, but it costs you your life to do it. So the answer is no, I'm done with franchise. Will I always mess with used cars? Yes, I love them. I was supposed to quit like a few years ago, but what do you know, man? I started a YouTube channel about cars, so guess I'm gonna be in it for a while. All right, so what else is out there? All right, I guess that's about it on my pipeline. I just wanted y'all to get an interest. I wanted you to really understand the importance of building tomorrow. Like, tomorrow is the big deal. Of course, we got what we're working on today, but tomorrow is the ticket in the car business, because the more of those, remember I told you you have a run time and every day you have a amount of money you must make. Well, the only way you can guarantee that is have that pipeline going steady. Like, if you wake up every morning at 0 and have to restart, it's hard. It's hard to make goals, man. It's hard to meet your monthly requirement for how many units you need to sell or your average gross profit. Like, if you take 3 hits in a row, meaning you don't buy cars or don't sell cars, your whole month's shit. And at the end of the month, what's going to happen is the floor plan's going to show up. If you're just working for a company, the dealer's going to want to know why the stuff isn't sold. Blah. I mean, it's just going to be bad. So trust me on this. The background of being successful in the car business is due diligence and homework and keeping the pipeline rolling. And that's the CarMan, baby. That's what we're doing tonight. All right, now I'm open for your conversation. I'm at my 20-minute mark, so it's all about you guys now. Shoot. What's your price range you'd like to keep? Dan, I got a couple different ones I really like. I like nice cars that are under 10 grand. I love nice cars under 10 grand. The newer mid miles, like if it has under 50,000 miles and it's a 2013 or newer, I get all excited. I just feel, because everybody can get their hands on 10 grand or less. Now, I do a lot of cars, especially with the YouTube videos, because they need repairs. We show you a lot of cars that are under 1,000, because this is the most lucrative market. Under $1,000 purchase. Reconditioning for $200 to $300 and or less. Maybe you can get it for $100, $200, and then turn around and retail back out at $2,000, $2,500, maybe $3 grand. So my price range, my favorite car to buy in the world is $500 and retailing back out for $2 grand, $2,500. Because I don't give a shit if you're selling a brand new 2018 or 2019, $2 grand a pop is monster. You're the man if you average $2 grand a week. And don't anybody blow shit up your ass. It doesn't matter. If $2 grand a car is awesome. If you're doing that on an average, that's good. That means you take some at 100, you take some at $5 grand, whatever. But at the end of the day, you throw 10 cars together, you made $2 grand a pop. You're the man. You didn't do nothing wrong. Actually, at an independent dealer, if you average $1,000 a car, I'm calling you good to go. Like, $1,000 a car is pretty good. Rick's Auto Canada. I've been in and out of the car business my whole life. Yeah, it's kind of like women, man. Oh, I shouldn't say that. Yeah, so it's kind of like women. I mean, you get in bad relationships, you get great relationships, bad relationships. They love you, then they hate you, then they kick you out. That's the same thing the car dealers do to us. Okay, so here we go. Benny D, man, I've been taking loss after loss. First month with my license was making more without it, LOL. Do the dealer auctions deliver cars you purchase from them, such as Mannheim? Okay, and then what's your opinion on how miles cars for small profits but fast? All right, so here we go. Let me address this. Man, I've been taking loss after loss first month with my license. You should have, Benny. I don't know if you got a chance to get into my video last night, my brother, but we don't want you losing money. So if you're thinking about cars, we got to really get you in your niche of what you're going to be studying. And then you need to put yourself on a cap. Like, you need to know what they sell for and just shut yourself off for what you're buying. Very dangerous game to play in the car business if you're not in a niche system. So I don't know how deep you are. I don't know how many cars you got on the lot and floor plan and all that stuff. But the first thing I would tell you do, tone it down. Buy cars that are simple, that are easy flips. import automatics. Stay with little small stuff that people love for gas mileage, whatever. Don't get crazy. Don't get into anything crazy. Just stay cheap, stay focused, keep them clean, relatively retailable miles. I'm assuming you're doing cash. Put the cars out there for a lower profit than anyone else and start picking up volume. All right. Okay. All right. Go to the dealer auction. Do the dealer auctions deliver cars for purchase from such as Manheim? Yes. Almost everybody offers that service. It's pretty inexpensive, $5-10, whatever. And you'll be surprised at how far they actually drive. And their dealers are very good at service-based stuff, and that's a service-based option. I'm sorry, auctions are very good at service-based stuff. Like if you want your car cleaned, they got to have a guy that does that. If you want an inspection, they'll have a guy that does that. Hell, I've seen them set up and they do your headlights. They're really good at little services like that, delivering cars, because they have no other way to make money other than the fees coming and going on the cars. So, yeah, anything they can expound on, they're going to do. No problem on that. It's easy to get cars moving back and forth. And the smaller the auction, the more apt they are to try to help you. What's your opinion on high-mile cars for small profits but fast? Okay, I don't have a problem with it. I'm assuming you're probably laying out some newer cars, 150, 200,000 miles. You know what? The secret to selling a car fast, I'm going to teach you all this right now. People always like, how do you sell cars in 48 hours every time, and been doing it for years? It's real simple. I call it the perception of value. The perceived value is the key. So what most people do is they look at book values and they're like, okay, I'll give you an example. They'll look at this Jeep Liberty and they'll say, all right, I don't even know what the book value is. I don't even care. But let's just pretend it's $3,500. They'll look at the book value and be like, okay, I paid $450 for a $3,500 car. Great. I'm going to sell it for $3,900 because that's in between clean and really clean, or whatever, whichever book value you're using. So they go in kind of the medium top. That car sits and sits and sits. One phone call and sits and sits and sits. Now, here's what I look at. When I look at the car, I think, how fast do I need to turn this? I need to turn it in 48 hours. All right, so what does it take to do that? Price. The number sells the car. So everybody can find Jeep Liberties out there for $3,000 to $3,500, unless y'all can correct me. How many of y'all can find that Jeep Liberty out there that nice, brand new in the box for $2,450, ready to go? Not many people. So in our market, this particular car would easily sell for $2,400 to $2,950, and I mean fast. Remember, people buy need, greed, and fear. That's the only three reasons they buy. So you got to hit them on one or two. If you hit them on two of them, you almost sell something super fast. Everybody needs a four-wheel drive little SUV. They want them. Greed, they'll never get it that cheap again, period. So, perfect. Fear, the car deal is not going to last long. It's the value, perception of value that you're giving them really quick. You make the pictures just balls out nice, and you put that hook out there and you put that price, and boom. So in 2 days, you sell a car and you take $3,000, put it back in your pocket, while the other guy's waiting for $500 or $700 for the next 2 or 3 weeks. Who's going to make more money? You are, because that $3,000 is going to keep making you money while this guy, dumbass, is still waiting. That's the secret to that. Okay, moving on. Okay, don't let your eyes trick you. I'm not sure what Big Cliff's talking about. I'm a rebuilder wholesaler. Try open, buy here, pay here. I help the little guys put cars on there. Yeah, that's a great, there's nothing wrong with that. That's a great, especially like Dan's saying, if he can, see, that's a niche market. He's going to take a car that he can get really, really good deal on. He's going to buy it cheap. He's got the expertise to put it back on the road, but he's still in it really cheap. Okay, that's no problem. He's allowed to make profit. It's okay if he makes profit. It's perceived value. So he takes it to, remember I told you in one of my videos before, if you got plenty of money as a wholesaler, you can make shit tons of money, but you've got to have the bankroll to put the little guy in business. And that's exactly what he's doing. And I bet you he makes really good money on average. Let's see. Rick Dyer has got a good show going on. What do people think? Anyone? Who's Rick Dyer? I'm going to look him up. I can't look him up because my stuff's locked up right now. Okay, so the only way you can... No, I'm sorry, Buff. The only way that you can really get the only way you can really get into tax is if you're exporting a lot of stuff. You can get out of the sales tax part, and you can kind of play with some stuff. But when you dealing with like your in-state, like New York, dude, they're not gonna. There's no way you can get rid of the tax burden. It's on you. I mean, you got the resale certificates. You don't got to pay sales tax, but you're gonna be collecting it and paying it, I'm sure. And then as far as like your income tax, remember in car business, everything is a write-off. Literally every conceivable idea you have can just about be wrote off in the car business. So keep that in mind. I mean, don't be too crazy. You're going to have a hard time writing off the strip club more than once or twice, but it can be done. There's no way to really actually get rid of the income tax burden. But at the end of the day, I mean, you should be able to make enough where you'll offset it, especially if you're following some of these key things. All right. Like him, okay, hold on, my arrow's in the way. No depreciation or whatnot. Yeah. So yeah. You could definitely depreciate the value of your cars. Our accountant does that every year. So you can depreciate everything going in from one year to the next, and then you have to pay you'll have to pay. Well, that's all changes from state to state. But like here, whatever you own December 31st, the last day of the month, you're going to be you got to pay taxes on as far as sales tax property tax is what you own. So yeah, the more shit you could get away with or quote book off till the January 1, the more you'll get off from paying. But at the end of the day, no one can beat the government. I mean, we try, everybody's tried, but it's really hard to beat those guys. They're just on top of it. But do keep receipts on everything. I'm gonna tell you what, I think they'll allow you to lose money for the first year or two pretty much. So keep that in mind. Damn it, guys, I went way over. All right, so it's 31 minutes and 26 seconds. That's pretty close to 20 minutes. I think I did all right. Meanwhile, nothing but peace and love. Hit our Amazon icon on our page and shop to your heart's little discontent. Oh, wait. Do you think cars sell for more big auctions or independent auctions? Great question. I think it all depends on the seller. I went through this not too long ago, wholesaling, and I think it's like anything. No one loves to be sold more than a salesperson. Always remember that. So if you're in the wholesale game, you got to have a hook. So give away something. Like when your stuff, make sure it's clean and nice, all of that. And if it's just shit cars, that's fine. Just live with it. But have a gimmick. Give away Walmart gift cards, Visa gift cards, TVs, just something. A lot of those buyers out there, it's not their money. So if they can get something free, you're going to increase your sales, and you're going to get them guys that don't that it's not spending their own money. They're going to be spending all the money because they don't care. They want the $50 you're giving away or the $100. Remember, you heard that from me. Real estate is almost tax-free, so I wonder if you could do the same. I'll second that, Rick. I'm trying to catch back up to Rick. Time for a beer. Yes, we are seconding that. Auto Buff, he says almost tax-free. Yeah, real estate, it is, man. If you figure it out in the car business, brother, please let me know. I hate the tax man, and he loves me, and I hate him. But we know how that goes. All right, I think we caught up now. All right, peace and love, my brothers. Take it easy, and tomorrow night we'll get into some more crazy shit. We'll see you then. Peace out.